pH. The pH is the measure of how acidic or basic a solution is. Plants like slightly acidic soil. However, this is hard to detect without using a pH sensor, and it's generally hard to adjust the pH without knowing some chemistry. If you follow all the steps above, your pH should be at its optimal level. The bottom line is that if you buy the proper soil, mix in manure as directed on the top layer, and add food scraps at the bottom, then you will create healthy living soil that will attract worms and be teeming with life. Step 5. Plants. When to plant and type of plants. When planting, you have to consider two things: when to plant and what type of plant. I recommend using the seed-to-spoon app to find out which plants you can grow in your climate and the best dates to do so. You will be able to set your location, and the app will provide you with a lot of useful information. For amateurs, I recommend that you buy seedlings rather than seeds, as they will have a much higher chance of survival during transplanting than growing seeds from scratch. You can visit your local nursery or garden center for plants. Layout. When laying out your garden, use the seed-to-spoon app to put friends near each other and enemies far away. This will help build a symbiotic relationship between the plants. Tomato tip: when planting tomatoes, plant them at a slight angle and also deep enough, so that the soil will cover about 1 inch of the stem. Make sure none of the leaves are buried in the soil. You can rip them off. Also, depending on how much space you have, consider determinate versus indeterminate varieties and bush versus vining varieties, as they will grow to different sizes. Determinate has a set size, such as 3 feet tall. Indeterminate will keep growing. Harvesting. Refer to the internet for when plants are ready to harvest. Step 6. Water. Choosing a delivery system. There are two options for you to deliver water to your garden. Drip irrigation. This is great for smaller gardens and for preserving water because it directly delivers water to the roots. It is also quite easy to control and works well. Sprinkler attached to a hose. While this is the less expensive option, it is not ideal because it wastes water and it is less efficient at delivering water directly to the plants as they get larger. Setting up and controlling your system for drip irrigation. Connect your Rainbird water timer to the faucet. In my opinion, this is the best device. Very reliable and easy to use. Run a hose from the Rainbird out to your garden, connect the hose to your drip irrigation kit and set it up in the garden. See kit instructions for help. Note: you might need to get an adapter for connecting the Rainbird to your hose. In order to prevent leaks, you may need to use the Teflon waterproof tape at the attachment sites that screw together. Teflon usually comes in the irrigation kit. Check to make sure your layout is delivering water evenly across your soil. I have found that using this drip irrigation system makes everything very simple and will make watering your garden hassle-free. I use this system on a garden I built for a non-profit in my area as well as at my home, and we have not had any problems. If you have a zone sprinkler system for your yard, you can use that instead of the Rainbird timer. Step 7. Nutrients. Initial nutrients. This is the next important thing to consider. Having the right nutrients will allow your plants to grow big and strong. After you fill your garden bed with soil, shake dry nutrients following the instructions on the bag. Pour black cow manure and mix it into the first couple inches of soil. Do not settle for the cheaper compost/manure because it will contain larger bits of material, which is bad for the plants. I learned this the hard way. Now your garden bed should be nice and full of nutrients. Nutrient maintenance. You are going to need to keep feeding your plants nutrients throughout the year. I recently found that the best method is to use the foliar spray technique to apply a combination of fish emulsion and liquid kelp per the instructions. This stuff is insane and will make your garden as productive as possible. While it smells horrible, I 100% recommend that you use it. Spray it onto the tops and bottoms of the leaves at dawn or dusk, when stoma are open, once every week or two. By doing this, you are directly providing nutrients straight to where they are needed. You should also add the normal dry fertilizer to the soil every month or so according to the instructions on the bag. After using a foliar spray with fish emulsion and liquid kelp, I have noticed an extraordinary result in how my plants have been growing. You should also add the normal dry fertilizer to the soil every month or so according to the instructions on the bag. After using a foliar spray with fish emulsion and liquid kelp, I have noticed an extraordinary result in how my plants have been growing.